Take two. Okay, a couple of things before I drop in. This one is super meaningful to me and super difficult for me. If you decide to bail, cool. Thanks for listening. It really does mean the world to me that people care enough to even check this out in the first place. I try to do all these in one take, so if I booger up a line, I leave it in there and then I make a joke about it in the subtitles. Self deprecation and all. You should also know this one is only going to be about me. Sorry. Bonus, it is going to get messy though. I'm sure I'm going to cry an uncomfortable amount. I'll be brief, which is an alternate title for the series. Anyways, 18 months ago, everything changed for me. I've been having this thing, mostly when I tried to sleep, where I got this weird burning in my shoulders and my forearms for some weird reason. After a few calls and an office visit to my cardiologist, I didn't realize what it was about to happen. And within a week, during what I was sure was an unnecessary procedure, a man named Dr. Prabhakar spiritually woke me up. I was lying on a table getting a cardiac catheterization when he tapped my leg and playfully said, "You're not going anywhere today, brother." Then he pivots this 100-inch TV in front of me and he shows me my left anterior descending artery, the one they call the Widowmaker, and the two blockages, neither of which could be safely stented. Within 24 hours, the surgery was over and I was resting. I cried a lot, y'all. Before, after, now. I was scared out of my mind. Those 6 days in the hospital changed everything for me. On my last night in the hospital, two wonderful things happened. I still get a little emotional thinking about them. First, the nurse I had the night before my surgery, his name is Andrew, stopped by to see how I was doing. Unremarkable, right? Except the night before my surgery, I had a massive panic attack. Horrible. You see, the symptoms of a panic attack, at least for me, are racing heartbeat, sweatiness, ridiculous anxiety, shortness of breath, dizziness. Now, having a panic attack with a compromised heart is probably something you should avoid. So I paged Andrew, and he came in and told me he'd order something to slow me down. Then he asked me what was wrong. I still cry thinking about this. He sat in the chair and he listened. And man, I cried a lot. Feels like it took hours. That's probably about 10 minutes. But 10 minutes, a random nurse took out of their busy shift to talk to me. Andrew, buddy, it meant the world. It still does. My last night in the hospital, a man named Chris visited. I did not know Chris, and we were still in pandemic rules. So if I saw him again, I wouldn't know it was him. Chris was a volunteer with a group called Mended Hearts. I'll put a link in the description if Google allows me. If I ever get my act together, I'm going to volunteer with them. He told me it was going to be okay, but that it's up to me to fix things. You see, I thought I was on borrowed time. Chris taught me there's all the time I need if I choose to use it. This podcast is part of me using my time better than I have before. I've talked to folks since then that have gone through similar situations where you confront your mortality. It changes you. And I want my change to be for the better and permanent. This is a part of that. I don't care who knows what I went through. I just want them to hear it in my voice, in my words. Heart stuff, well, medical stuff in general, is weird when you're a big fat fatty like me. Usually, when someone hears heart, everyone assumes I had a heart attack. Nope, thankfully. I wouldn't be here if it happened. They call it the Widowmaker for a reason, kids. I just watched David Letterman on Colbert from earlier this week. He went through heart surgery too, and it's changed him. And it seems to have been permanent. He's a different dude to me, at least. I think he'd probably agree. I'd ask him if through some internet magic we ever got to talk, how he dealt with the change that happens when you go through this. I'd also ask him if Ian Roussel is as cool in real life as he seems on TV, and what it was like watching someone get such joy out of rusty metal like Ian does. It- I was so insanely grateful after my surgery to my family and my wife in particular. I didn't feel worthy of their attention and love. That's part of this. I'm the one that screwed this up. nor anyone else. Yet they all did so much and were so kind. I didn't feel I deserved it. I figure there's going to be crying here. Need to get that out of the way. We're staying positive. These are tears of joy, happiness, and relief. There's a lot I want us to talk about as time allows. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.